I don't have as positive or glowing of a review. So here's the thing, right? Here's what had happened was like, that's boring. So I absolutely freaked out on Wednesday. Everything's kind of a blur right now. Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today, as you may or may not be able to tell, we are jumping into another reading vlog. And not just any reading vlog. We are starting a reading vlog for Read the Beats, which is a series that Jess from This Kiwi does on her channel, and she has graciously invited me to be a part of that series. So, if you are not familiar with that, first of all, I recommend going over to Jess's channel and checking out her videos on it, because this is a series that she has been doing for a while now. But basically, we recommend songs to each other, and we have to choose a book to read based on the song recommendations that we got. Something about that song has to inspire a read. It could be the song title, it could be the artist, it could be the music video, the lyrics, like something about the song has to basically inspire the book that you end up reading and vlogging for this video. So I have my video queued up, or the one that she did for me. So I'm going to watch it, I'm going to react to it. If you want to see what songs I recommended her, then go watch her video so you can see what songs I chose for her to pick from. But we are going to jump into Jess's video and see what songs she's giving me so I can try to figure out what book to pick, because I want to film my March TBR, and so I need this book so that I can film my video. So here we go, let's get started.
Hello Nell, thank you so much for being a part of Read the Beats. I believe it's episode 7. Yeah, let's get straight into your songs. So I wanted to give you a couple of different genres. One that's going to be fairly easy, a couple that could give you a challenge in a different way, depending on how you interpret them. Very excited. I love these songs, obviously. So your first one is by a Kiwi artist. The singer is called Savage, and I think Timmy Trumpet is a DJ, but he's also a musician. Like, he actually plays the trumpet. The song I'm giving you is called Freaks. Now, you could go for a vibe, and it is a vibe. It's a banger. It gets you moving, and it gets you going, and gets you motivated. Or you could kind of go a little bit deeper and actually listen to the lyrics, and some of those lyrics kind of give you little hints onto quite a few things that you could use as prompts. You could go for a romance with a little bit of spice in it, where there's so many options with Freaks. It's very versatile. It could give you, I don't know, it could give you a challenge, but it's very versatile. The second song that I want to give you is one, it's called Castle of Glass from Linkin Park. Rest Chester Bennington. They use a scene of a young boy who lost his father to in the military. It's an interesting title for a song because the song itself hits you a bit like glass. If you listen to the lyrics and you listen to what Chester is saying, it hits a little bit like glass. Like, it can sting a bit. Yeah, it's quite a powerful song. But yeah, Castle of Glass, the lyrics are very deep, very meaningful. There are different ways you could take it. Again, you could listen to the lyrics, you could just go with the vibe, like a sad song. You don't have to. Now, for your third song, and I've still got you on sprints at the moment, so say hello to yourself. We started talking about a movie in these sprints with Rainey, and because you haven't seen the movie, I thought I would introduce you a little bit to the music, and that is "Find a Way Back into Love." Now, it's a song that's created by Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant, and they sing it together in the movie. The music is really cool, and also to hear Hugh Grant singing, like, that's pretty cool. Essentially, this is a love song, pure and simple. It is finding a way back into love. It's very simple lyrics, very easy to understand, very romance heavy, obviously. So yeah, I think this song is going to be the easiest one out of all of them. So, recapping, your first song is Freaks from Timmy Trumpet and Savage. Your second song is Castle of Glass from Linkin Park. And your third song is Way Back Into Love by Hugh Grant. And I am going to say Drew Barrymore because I can't remember the other lady. I'm so excited to see what you pick for these and what my songs are. Thank you again so much for being a part of Read the Beats, episode 7. And I'll see you soon.
Okay, so I will say, just initial thoughts. I do not know any of these songs. I do know who Linkin Park is, obviously. But outside of that, I don't know any of the artists. I've never heard of any of these songs. Even though I know Linkin Park, I've never heard of this song before. So I'm intrigued now to actually listen to all of these and try to figure out what book I want to read based on them. So yeah, I think I'm going to go listen to these songs. And I will come back once I have made a decision on what I'm going to be reading for this. Didn't do much that sprint. Going to get up and do a little bit more editing, hopefully to the end of book 1 for the blog. Oh, wait. Now I have a question. I may have done this wrong.
So here's the thing, right? Here's what had happened was, hopefully editing me inserts a clip from this past week's Wind Down Wednesday sprints, because in talking to Jess in the comments on Wednesday, I realized that I did not understand the assignment. I mistakenly thought that we were supposed to send each other like a couple of songs, and we were supposed to pick one of those songs, pick a book based off of that song, and then do a vlog for it. What I did not realize or anticipate was that we were supposed to pick a book for each of those songs, which means that this vlog should have at least 3 books in it and not 1. So I absolutely freaked out on Wednesday when I realized that I had 2 more books that I had to read for a video that was supposed to go up on Saturday, which obviously that video did not go up on Saturday because today is Saturday and I'm filming this. So I was freaking out. I was like, I don't know what to read. There was a reason why I didn't choose those other 2 songs, was because I had a hard time finding books for them. Now time has passed. Originally when I was looking for books for those 2 songs, this was like at the end of February. It is currently the beginning of April. So a lot of time has passed. Book plans have changed. They've been made, whatever. And so honestly, the timing could not have worked out better, honestly, because there are books that are on my TBR for April that I feel like do kind of fit better with these songs than the books that I had lined up for March. And so I guess it kind of worked out, in my favor, all things considered. So we are going to do this vlog a little bit out of order, and the part that I actually filmed first is actually going to go last, and we're going to start with this section of the video, 1, because this kind of gives you an explanation of what it is you're about to see and how things went horribly wrong, and also because I'm now just going to go in order of the songs that I was given. And another unexpected turn of events, what also ended up happening was the day after I had this revelation, I got really sick, and so I talked to Jess on Wednesday, and then Thursday afternoon got like super sick. And so I'm still very much recovering, because that was only like 3 days ago. Still very much recovering from this, whatever this illness is that has taken a hold of me. So since I am homesick with nothing really to do and not really in the mood to do anything except sleep, what better time to try to read these other 2 books that I was supposed to have read than right now? So the first song that Jess gave me was a song called Freaks, I think, by Savage and Timmy Trumpet, if my memory is correct. And at the time, I had nothing for this. I was like, I have no idea what book I can read for this song. But like I said, it's a new month now, a new set of books for the TBR, so I actually do have something for this now, and perfectly timed because I'm supposed to be starting it today. So you guys may already know this, but Donna from Donna Marie Reads and we read a dark romance every month. We buddy read a dark romance every month, and so this month's pick is Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne Weaver, which is kind of like a full circle moment for us because the book that started our dark romance buddy reads was actually Butcher and Blackbird, which is the first book in this series. So now we are completing the trilogy finally. And we've been doing this for about a year. So I'm starting that today. So that is the book that I will be using for the Freaks song, which I think makes sense in a lot of ways. Like, this book is one about, I'm assuming it's about 2 serial killers, because all the other books in this series have been about serial killers. So that's freakish in and of itself. And then also I believe our female lead character is in the circus. So again, more of like your freaks, if you will. And then it's a dark romance. So, freaks, if you will. The second song that she gave me, I believe, was Castle of Glass by Linkin Park. However, she did say in a different sprint, and if I can find that clip, I will insert it, and if not, you'll just have to take my word for it. But Jess did say, we had this whole conversation on sprints about Free Willy. You had to be there. If you were there, if you know, you know. If you don't know, it's okay. You missed out. It was a thing. It was a moment. But in talking about Free Willy, she told me that I could swap out one of my songs for the Michael Jackson Will You Be There song.
Cute insta of a MJ music video if you want to switch out a song for Read the Beast, you can get that one.
And so I will be swapping out Linkin Park's Castle of Glass for Michael Jackson's Will You Be There. And the book that I've decided to go with for that song is Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. Now, the reason why I chose this book is because just in looking at the lyrics of that song, something about it reminded me of like wedding vows. So this book is all about, they're actually not a couple, or at least they don't start out as a couple. My guess is that they'll probably end up a couple by the end of the book. But this girl and this guy, they get hired to object at people's weddings because the people don't want to marry whoever it is that they're standing at the altar with. So they hire this like team to come in and like object to their weddings. So I felt like, you know, wedding vows, wedding objectors, you know, it just, is it a leap? Maybe it is, but we're on a time crunch, so we got to get things done, okay? So those are the first two books that you're going to see me read in this video. And then we will, I guess, go backwards in time and I'll show you what the original book was that I chose and we'll do all of that. And then I don't know if I'll just use my original outro from when I thought that I was finished with this video or if I'll film a new one, but I guess you guys will find out at the end of this video. So without further ado, let's jump into these books. I am back with an update. It's been, I think, like 2 days maybe since I started these books, and I'm here to report that my voice hopefully sounds better. I am feeling a little bit better, but still sick. But I did finish Happily Never After. This was a pretty like short, easy book to get through. I didn't expect that I'd finish it in like, I think it's been 2 days. I don't even really know. Everything's kind of a blur right now. But I wasn't really expecting to finish this as quickly as I did. It was a really easy read. I did enjoy this. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking or earth-shattering or anything like that. But it was a fun, like if you're looking for like a funny, like this was actually funny. A funny like rom-com, like palate cleanser type of book or whatever. Nothing too heavy, nothing too deep. It did explore some interesting concepts about people's view of love, and some of it was kind of relatable. Yeah, I definitely like highlighted a couple of things and like annotated a couple of things in here. But overall I had a good experience. 4 stars. This was the first adult romance that I've read from Lynn Painter. All the other books that I've read by Lynn Painter have all been YA romances. So I'm happy with this. Like I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know if the characters were going to be like underdeveloped or feel childish or whatever, just because this author typically writes, you know, younger characters. I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to like an adult romance from this author, but I really liked it. I do think that there was a little bit, like the cursing was a bit over the top at times. I definitely liked both of the characters, both of the main characters, the female and the male lead. Thought that they were both interesting and funny. I liked their banter. You know, I liked them together. I liked how the relationship progressed. Like it was a cool story. Again, nothing to like write home about, but it was a good time. Like I don't regret reading this. I don't feel like I wasted my time. Like would I recommend this? Yeah, I would recommend this if you're looking again for like a nice, funny, you know, just like your classic rom-com. Yeah. Now to move on to Scythe and Sparrow. I don't have as positive or glowing of a review to give you guys for that one. Now, granted, we're not finished. We're only, I think, 54% of the way into this book. We just finished the chapter called Stroke of Luck. So we're about to start the chapter called Hurdles. I think I've talked about this in other videos. I find it very annoying when books have chapter names instead of chapter numbers. I'm fine with both. Like, if you're going to have chapter titles, I feel like you also need to have chapter numbers. Because if I say, like, oh, I'm on chapter Hurdles, like, you have to then figure out, like, where is that in the book? Versus if I say like I'm on chapter 5, well, at least you know it's after chapter 4 and before chapter 6. You know, it gives you some context of like where I am in the book. But yeah, we're about to start the chapter Hurdles, which means absolutely nothing to you if you don't have a physical copy of this book to like see where that is in the table of contents. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm not happy with this book. I think that we are both kind of feeling, and I don't know if Donna's vlogging this, I don't want to speak for her, but I am feeling very disappointed with this book, with this being, ooh, don't look at my nails, with this being the third book in the trilogy, this being like the finale to the trilogy. Very disappointed, I have to say. Like, I think that these characters, they're just fine. The banter is just okay. Like, the gore, the darkness, you know, it's just, it's not even okay. It's like barely even there. I feel like in the first two books, like in Butcher and Blackbird, right, you have these two characters who are like serial killers, and they play a game together, and they kind of like fall in love throughout this whole like game that they're playing or whatever. So like, it's an interesting story. It's fun. It's funny. Like, their banter is great. Like, it was really great. And then you get to Leather and Lark, and there's still a plot there, sort of, because I think Lark was like, what, her family was like in the mafia or something, I forget what it was, and she was like trying to save his life or something, blah blah blah, whatever. There's like a plot there, is my point. I don't feel like there's a plot in this story. Like, that's one of the things that's bothering me, is that I don't feel like there's a plot. It's just these two people who met, you know, under odd circumstances, and it's kind of like this will they, won't they, like there's all this like sexual tension, but no, we can't go there because of nothing really. She's like, he's my doctor. I'm just like, is he though? I feel like he actually isn't her doctor. She had a completely different doctor, and he took it upon himself to also help out with her treatment or her case or whatever, but I don't think that he's like her official doctor. But anyway, I'm just like, I'm kind of bored of you guys, and like the spicy scenes just aren't spicy enough, especially compared to like some of the other books that we've read. Like, the spice is not spicy, the plot is not plotting. Like, I don't know what's happening with this book. Like, I'm very confused. It's giving 3-star energy right now at best. Like, I don't know that I could give it anything higher than a 3-star. Granted, like I said, we're only halfway in, so maybe it'll get better. Maybe something will happen. It'll be like, oh my gosh. But as of right now, it's giving 3-star energy. And I'm very disappointed that this is the last book in a series, and it's just barely okay. One of the things that I will say that I like about this book is that I think that sometimes when you have like interconnected standalones, sometimes authors miss like opportunities to like do stuff with the fact that this isn't interconnected standalones, and there are things happening in the series like at the same time in different books or whatever. I like that this book kind of shows you things that you saw in the first two books, but from these characters' perspectives versus, you know, the other characters who we already got their perspective on it. I do appreciate that. I think we've gotten at least 2 or 3 instances where we've kind of seen scenes that we have already read about in the other books, where we're kind of like getting a different like spin on it or getting a different perspective on it. I do appreciate that. But outside of that, this book isn't giving me anything. It's not really that funny. It's not really that spicy. It's not really that dark. We're just very underwhelmed by this book. So we will continue reading, and maybe I'll have something different to tell you later when we finish, or maybe I won't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Wish us luck. Okay, so it's been like a day, maybe 2 days. I don't know. But I'm here to update you on Scythe and Sparrow. I have finally finished this book. And I haven't locked in my rating yet, like on Storygraph, but I'm leaning towards a 2.5. I just feel like this book felt like a middle book. Like, it felt like a filler book, even though it wasn't. It was supposed to be, you know, this amazing climactic ending to a series, you know? And it just was very anticlimactic. The main character, the female main character, Rose, I don't know if I talked about this in the last update, but one of the things that I found to be very annoying about her, she wasn't annoying in the same way that like Lark was annoying in the second book. Like, Lark, her personality is just, she's just an annoying person. She's not somebody that I would be friends with in real life. But Rose was annoying because Rose kept talking up a big game, like she was gonna kill all these guys for, you know, beating their wives and being horrible people, which is like great, love that for her. but she like sucked at killing people. Like she was the worst serial killer I've ever seen in a book. I love your moxie, you know, but maybe we should stop. Their romance was okay. There were like weird time jumps that I didn't really understand. At one point, Fionn becomes like an MMA fighter or something, like randomly in one scene, and then we never talk about it again. I don't know. It was a weird book. I don't even know how to describe it. I think that if you have read the first book, you could really just stop there. The book was definitely giving vibes of like H.D. Carlton's Satan Affair. You could tell that like the Cat and Mouse series kind of like influenced this book. You could definitely see that if you've read that series, like all the prequels and stuff, whatever, you could see the influence there. Based on the way that this book ended, I'm assuming that there is going to be some kind of like spin-off series from this. I haven't decided if I want to read it or not. I guess me and Donna will cross that bridge whenever it comes out. But right now, to be determined, because we are both kind of just very disappointed with the way this series ended. So now that I have finished those two books, it's interesting because very different experiences. One was like short and funny and fun, and what did I give it? Like 4 stars or something close to that. And then the other one was highly anticipated, had a lot of potential, and completely like tripped at the finish line, and ended up being a 2.5 stars. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to go back in time to like a month ago when I originally filmed the clips for this video. And we are going to read the book that is for the song, I forget what the song is called, but it's a song that was by Hugh Grant and Drew Barrymore. So we're going to jump back in time to that, and you guys are going to watch my thoughts reading that book. I read romance all the time. Like, I want to do something creative. I don't want to be boring or basic and just pick like a romance book because it's a love song. Like, that's boring. And then it hit me. Drew Barrymore is just kind of an icon, so like, love her. And I was like, I think she has a book club, kind of like how Reese Witherspoon has like her Reese, you know, book club, whatever. I was like, I think Drew Barrymore has something similar to that. So I started searching. Didn't find like an actual or an official book club, but I did find a couple of different articles where people were talking. They had like interviewed her, and she talked about 10 of her favorite books. And she actually has a book in her top 10 like books she recommends or favorite books or whatever that I own on my physical TBR that I had not planned on reading. I had it, but didn't really have any idea of when I was going to actually get to it. But it is The Four Seasons by Miguel Ruiz. And this was recommended to me by my therapist, my old therapist, like a year and a half ago. And I bought it, but I never read it. I don't even remember why she recommended this to me or why she told me that I should read this. But I guess I'm going to find out now. So this has given me the perfect opportunity to finally read this book that has been sitting on my shelf for almost 2 years. So thank you, Jess. I did not know that that was where we were going to end up with this. Didn't know that this was where we were going to land. But does it say what it's about? It says, in the Four Agreements, Miguel Ruiz reveals the source of self-limiting beliefs that rob us of joy and create needless suffering. Based on an ancient Toltec wisdom, the Four Agreements offers a powerful code of conduct that can rapidly transform our lives to a new experience of freedom, true happiness, and love. Interesting. Okay. And I'm excited to see. And I'll also be excited to see if I can figure out why my old therapist recommended this to me and see if this is helpful or not. We'll see how this goes. We are back. I have made it to my destination. I have not started this yet. So that is what we are going to do right now. This is a very short book. I think I said before that it's only like 100 and something pages. It's like less than 200 pages. So I'm hoping that maybe if I don't finish it like today, my plan is to definitely finish this tomorrow. Also, I think that I said the author's name wrong. I think I said that this was by Miguel Ruiz. It is by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I think I even said it wrong. What's that noise? What was I saying? Oh, I think in my TBR video, when I talked about the fact that I was going to be reading this, I also said his name was Miguel Ruiz. I'm not sure how I missed the Don part because it's definitely on the cover. So I apologize. It is by Don Miguel Ruiz. That is the author of this book. So yeah, I'm hoping that this will be very impactful. Hopefully I will learn something from this. What is in here? Like, is this going to help me? Is this going to change my life? Like, I don't know. The last time I read a self-help book
maybe not the last time, but last year I read The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, and that did change my life. That was amazing. So I'm hoping that this will be similar, like a similar experience to that. So yeah, I guess without further ado, let's jump into this book, and I will check in with you guys once I've gotten probably like halfway, or if something happens that I feel like I need to like stop and like talk to you guys about it or update you guys. So we are back to do the first update for the 4 agreements. And it's interesting because as I was reading this, I was like constantly thinking like, why did my old therapist recommend this to me? Like, why did she think I needed to read this? And it's not that this book isn't good. I think there's a lot of good information in here, but I think that a lot of what's in here is stuff that I already knew and stuff that I have already kind of like adopted and have been trying to incorporate in my life for some time now. So what are the 4 agreements? So far I have gotten through the first 3 agreements. So I still have to read the 4th one and then whatever comes after that. But basically they are 4 principles, or in this case they call them agreements, that you should follow in life to try to simplify your life and live a more carefree, like less stress, less anxiety, and just overall like have a life that is filled with like joy and happiness. The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. As I was reading this, I felt like this was a very like abbreviated, like abridged, watered down version of some of the similar concepts that are in that book. And I loved that book. That was one of my favorite books that I read last year. That was like nonfiction. There are a couple of moments in this book where it talks about like people pleasing and being a people pleaser and how to kind of get out of that mentality. There was one moment in particular where I remember thinking about a specific conversation that I had with that therapist. And now it kind of makes sense as to why she might have recommended this to me based on that very specific conversation. And it's not to say that this book is like useful to me or like I'm too good for this book. Like, it's not that. I just think that there is so much more that needs to be in this for it to really be effective for someone. And because I have read other books already, I kind of have that like context or that background or whatever to be able to build upon. I feel like this book is not enough. It's a great place to start, but it's not enough. If you have never read a self-help book, I do recommend picking this up because I think that this is going to be interesting and may teach some concepts that maybe you're not familiar with or bring some things to your attention that maybe you haven't considered before. But I'm interested to see what the last point is. I don't even want to look at it because I don't want to spoil it for myself. I'm going to continue reading this, and I will definitely finish this tonight. And hopefully, depending on what time I finish and how tired I am, I will either be back tonight with my final thoughts and close out this video, or I'll be back tomorrow morning to do the same. So yeah, let's continue reading. So I have finished this book, and again, I like this. So our 4th agreement, or our 4th principle, this was the one that was the newest for me as far as like concepts go. It's not that I didn't know, I think it's more so that like I had not read it in these terms. Like I hadn't seen it worded in this way. The reason why these are called agreements is because basically it's saying, one of the things that it talks about in the very beginning is that when you are born and you are taught these things, you don't really know enough about anything to really like have an opinion. You just kind of go with what you're taught, whether it's by your teacher, by your parents, by your religious leaders, like whoever. You believe whatever it is that you're taught. And then as you get older and you can kind of form your own thoughts and opinions, you learn more about the world, you learn more about yourself, you can then decide whether or not you actually
actually agree with these things. And so that's the idea behind like the agreements. The agreements are basically just anything that you believe, whether it's something that is like fact and evidence based, or whether it's like something that's more like faith based. But the things that you believe that kind of shape your actions, your desires, your opinions, those are the things that are essentially what they're referring to as agreements. They are things that you believe in and therefore you agree with, if that makes sense. That's like the best way that I can like summarize it. Then the next section that happens after you get past the 4 agreements, it talks about breaking old agreements. So breaking beliefs that you had, or patterns that you had prior, now that you want to move away from. So like if you're a people pleaser, like there are different beliefs and things that have been instilled in you, concepts that have been instilled in you that have caused you to become a people pleaser. So how do we break those things down and get away from that? So it goes into how to break those old agreements. And essentially what it comes down to, there are some other things, you know, along the way, but essentially what it comes down to is in order to break an old agreement, you basically have to replace that old agreement with a new agreement. And it's, again, easier said than done. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that you have to like work at and practice. And it talks a lot about practicing and repetition. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy this book. It was really easy to read. Like I read it in a day and a half, or whatever. So yeah, super easy read. Again, highly recommend. I could definitely understand why like Drew Barrymore, for example, has this on her like list of like top 10 books or whatever. One thing that I do want to point out about this book is that if you are going to listen to this in audio, I tried to hybrid read this and it was very difficult because the audiobook, or at least the one that I have, the audiobook like skips parts of the book. So as I was reading along physically, there will be things that were in the physical book that were not in the audiobook. And so it would kind of like skip. And I'm like, wait, where are we? And I would have to pause the audiobook and then read the physical book until I caught up to where the audiobook skipped to. So just that's something to be mindful. I do recommend reading the actual book and not just listening to the audio, because you are going to miss out on things. Sometimes it's just like a sentence, and then other times it's like a whole paragraph that's missing. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Thank you, Jess, so much for inviting me again to be a part of Read the Beats. If you guys want to see what songs I recommended to Jess and what she ended up reading, then I will have her video linked down below. You can go check that out. But yeah, that's it for me, and I will see you guys. Oh wait, just kidding. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and then check out some of my other videos here if you want to see more content from me. And now I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.